Let's move back to the story that I mentioned a little earlier. 26-year-old Protea Glen man appearing in court after body parts found in his fridge. We had some mic problems. eNCA's Manqoba Mchunu is with us and joins us. So with a better microphone, thank you very much for joining us. So Flavio Hlabangwane was in court today. I understand he's abandoned his attempt at bail. What do we know so far about the case?
Well, Sally, what we do know so far is that this particular suspect was arrested on Saturday after his girlfriend, who was at the house at the time, had stumbled upon the body parts which were stacked in plastics in his fridge. And at the time, Hlabangwane, we understand, was out of his rented house. He had in fact gone to buy some food from a nearby food retailer. And that's when that girlfriend had made that discovery in his fridge and then alerted the neighbors about this incident, and he was then apprehended by some of the community members, who include 2 police officers that were there at the crime scene, and just also from his friend who also attended this particular scene. He says that this particular suspect then tried to take his own life. They saw him in fact stabbing himself several times with a knife in an attempt to end his life. He was at the point handcuffed by police, but of course, after that, he was taken to hospital where he's been receiving medical attention. He was discharged this morning, and from being discharged from hospital, he was then taken by police, who then questioned him about this particular murder. We do understand, Sally, that he has now confessed to the police as to what really happened, but those details at this particular point, we still do not have the full picture. You will understand that this is still part of that investigation that police are still going on. But in terms of those body parts, they are still being processed. The forensic are still looking at that particular evidence at this point.
Absolutely horrific. Before we get to what the police said today after court, I just want to go back to the moment which has been caught on video. And I just have to say to our viewers, it's quite gruesome. So if you don't like seeing sort of stuff like this, please just look away now. We are going to play a clip of this video, which seems to be Flavio, the suspect, Hlabangwane, trying to hurt himself, and then filmed by a friend, I think, who you've also spoken to. Let's just take a short look at that while we chat. I mean, it really is, is very distressing. We just saw a very tiny clip of that video, but you have a longer clip of that video. Tell us about that video and what it actually shows us, and perhaps also reflect on what people know about this man, because the community seems completely shocked.
Well, Sally, the video that was making rounds on social media was a video that was captured just shortly after Flavio Hlabangwane had been apprehended by those community members. So what we do understand, Sally, is that at the time, the 2 or the 3 gentlemen, which included 3 policemen, had come to the house after the girlfriend had gone to their houses. So they then pretended that they were just coming to look for the owner of the house, who also happens to be a policeman. So upon going inside, that's where they then cornered him and said that we want to see what's inside your fridge. You've received a tip-off that perhaps there might be something untoward in your fridge. And they said that if it is at all, animal flesh that is in your fridge, then it's okay. We won't bother you. But let's take a look at your fridge. And this is where he then made a statement to them to say that, whatever is inside there, I don't know anything about it. And so that raised suspicions again with them, and that actually compelled them to then open the fridge and open some of those plastics. And upon opening them, Sally, that's when they discovered what appeared to be a human hand and also a parts of a leg. So it is 2 hands that were found inside those plastics, as well as 2 legs that were found. The rest of the body, as to the torso and the head, that is still unknown at this point what happened. But what we did see also on the crime scene on Saturday is that when forensic experts were combing that scene, we did see them going through the boot of his car, and that's where they removed some of the items which allegedly belongs to the victim. We did see some of the items which appeared to be female clothes being taken out, as well as a can of fuel which was found in his boot. And according to some of the witnesses and some of the expert witness that we're hearing from our sources, that there were blood stains that were found on those particular clothes. So he was arrested, Sally, but he was taken firstly to a medical facility where he was then discharged today. And from there, that's when he then made this appearance in court. It was a relatively short appearance. And what he did ask for was that he needs to find a lawyer that will represent him in this particular case. But as to whether or not he will apply for bail, that will be clear when he appears next week, Monday.
The accused, Flavio Tlhabangwane, has appeared in court on a charge of murder. He has been remanded in custody and he will be appearing again on 22 November 2021. The discovered body parts have been sent to the Forensic Science Laboratory for identification. The case is now being investigated by the Provincial Occult-Related Crimes Investigation and the accused is being profiled.
It really is a very distressing case. Do we know anything about the female victim? You mentioned earlier that these body parts were discovered by his current girlfriend. Do we have any idea who the actual victim is?
Well, sorry, at this particular point, the identity of the victim is still unknown. But what we did hear from the police is that those body parts that were found are going to be investigated by the forensics team, and DNA samples will be extracted from them to try and perhaps find the identity of that particular victim. But what we have heard from neighbors is that this suspect was staying at that rented house for over a year with his live-in girlfriend who was staying with him at that particular place. And they're saying that, up until last month, they have not actually seen his girlfriend around, and there is really no information as to whether she has gone back home. We do understand that she's from Pretoria, somewhere in Pretoria, and that she had been, living with him. So it is still a mystery, but some of the neighbors, of course, at this point, not ruling out the fact that this may be a case of femicide. We did speak also to his friend, a very close friend of his yesterday, who told us that when he spoke to him just a few moments after he was apprehended, he had confessed to him that, in fact, the person or the remains that were found were of somebody that was known to both of them, somebody that was very close to this particular suspect. So I guess it still forms part of the police investigation. They have not confirmed at this particular point, Sally, whether or not there is a missing person's case that has been filed, or whether there has been any family members that have come forward looking for any individual.
All right, so when is he due back in court?
Well, he's due back in court, Sally, next week, Monday. We do understand that the investigations at this stage are still continuing. And what we do understand also is that he has also agreed to cooperate with the police in terms of where the other body parts have been concealed. So we do expect that over the next few days he will be taking police to that particular place where those remains have been concealed. And from there, the police saying that they will be making a case for murder against the suspect.
Absolutely horrific story. Thank you so much for that comprehensive report, eNCA reporter Manqoba Mchunu.